Animal Kingdom. Not the Disney theme park. No, this is not a review of that. Very different from that. This is the actual movie, Animal Kingdom. And let's see what IMDb has to say. An adventure between a father and his son in a world where some humans have started mutating into other animal species. All right. Yeah, that is definitely not happening at Animal Kingdom. I've been there. That doesn't happen, I think. But, maybe behind the scenes. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, new film out of France, I believe, and hitting theaters in March and March 15th and on VOD. So, new movie coming out. Disclaimer here, received a screener for this, and that's why I am here reviewing it. And since it's a new movie, we'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. So get those disclaimers out of the way here at the top here. So, yeah, definitely going to be an interesting film, and if you know me and the kind of horror that I like and films that I like, off the bat, this is probably, not going to be, my typical kind of film. There are some moments with, a little bit of blood and so forth here, but it's not huge. And this is more of a, yeah, horror is here, but it's more of an adventure. It's, a little bit of drama. It is a little bit more maybe sci-fi-ish. It is a mix of a couple of things here. So it is not just a standard horror, and it is a, more serious kind of movie. It's not, a sci-fi, shown, craziness, mutations kind of thing. This is definitely a more serious toned movie, and definitely giving you some food for thought here. So, diving a little bit further into it and what is going on here. So, the movie, opens, and I will say that it is subtitled. Do have to do a little bit of reading, which I'm not a big fan of reading either. But it doesn't get overly complicated here. So, it is, like I said, it is French. So you have early on in the film, you get introduced to the father and the son, and it seems like a fairly good relationship, but maybe there's some things that are also a little bit of a divide, as they have a disagreement here early on. And the son, they're in traffic. The son gets out of the car, starts going down the street. The father's like, "Yeah, I'll come back," blah blah blah. There's a medical issue that they're going to attending, or that's where they're trying to go to a hospital to discuss. But the son gets out of the car, and as they're kind of walking, we're seeing all this weirdness going on by an ambulance. And this is, so it kind of starts off definitely as a typical horror kind of scene, because you know that whatever's going on in this ambulance is not good. And the way they play it and so forth. And before you know it, the emergency responders there are getting tossed around. And you're like, whoa, what is happening here? And before you know it, a half man, part giant bird, to call it, comes out of this truck, and you're just like, okay. And that's when you kind of know we're in for something a little bit different here, or something strange. And not to go on too much with the scene, but that's kind of your introduction here to the animal kingdom, or the animalness here of this movie. So the father and the son, then they go, they gather themselves, make it out of the scene, okay, obviously. And that's when we're going to start kind of finding out a little bit more about what's going on here. And like I said, they do go to a hospital. There's talk about treatment and so forth, and definitely in regards to his mother. And there's going to be a point here. I'm just kind of thinking about what I want to say, and not to get too much spoilers away. But we really don't get to know too much or see too much about the mom because apparently something happens and she goes missing. So part of the story here is the search for her. The father becomes very desperate in the search for the mother as she's gone missing, and that kind of is important because you kind of then, while the father and son are together, but you also get to see then the son kind of separate and go on his own. And as he goes on his own, he's going through his own things. He's going to school. He's interacting with other kids and so forth. And he's also interacting soon enough with this bird guy that we see here that escaped the ambulance. So the bird guy is going to play also a role in it. I don't want to expand on it too much, but he is involved. It's not we see him at the beginning and that's it. No, we're going to see a little bit more and learn a little bit about him. Again, just kind of, don't want to give away too much spoiler here, but you're going to see other half animals, mutated animal people here. And you're going to kind of see how society is reacting to that. Some people are more tolerant of it, some people are not. You're going to see, there are some people who are trying to reasonably treat them and try to find a solution and not harming them. And then there's other people that, are a little bit more aggressive and maybe more willing to harm them and kill them. And, it's really an open door. I won't give away too many of the animals that you're going to see here, or the mixture of half people, half animals. Some you're going to see they're mutated mostly into an animal, and some are going to be, evolving. There is a few that you'll see evolve a lot, as it goes on, because they'll show them at one point and then show them later. Then there's others that you'll see, more when they've already evolved. But yeah, it is an interesting thing here. I will say, the special effects of it and, how they kind of mix the people with, half creature, half person, or whatever the mixture is really good, very realistic. It's not cheaply done. This is a good production as far as that's concerned. And it's not overly relying on that. This is not, a film where you're just, it is definitely taken more from the father and son, and definitely the son's perspective, and following them as opposed to going off and following, the bird guy or some of the other creatures and whatever. Like I said, they're going to be sprinkled in. You're going to, see them here and there. You're going to wonder if other people are, there's a lot of discussion. Like I said, he mixes with other kids. Are they going through the same thing? You're going to see some, that are tolerant of it, some that are not. There's going to be lots of discussion. Obviously, it's an issue in this society, and what is happening here. And obviously, the film is touching on a message here, obviously, in all this. This is another film that kind of uses, all these genres, horror, drama, action, whatever you want to call it, to put together a really good movie, but also with a lot of messages in it, or some points to take. And so, this is not a slasher. You just sit back, you watch the guy kill everybody. No, there's a lot of it, there's things to think about, and there's things that the movie is going to want you to think about. So again, when I say that this is not my type of movie, I don't like thinking. I like just the blood and guts. But it wasn't enough where it annoyed me. You get where they're going with it. You take your point, and I guess maybe it's not so much drilled into you when you're reading the subtitles, because you can have those moments where maybe you want to tune out, or you don't, you kind of see, the messaging kind of coming, and you just kind of like, okay, just let it happen. And you don't have to absorb it as much as when, it's in English and you understand everything they're saying, and you're just like, okay, I get it, come on. whatever. So I guess, it's not as into, it's not as bothersome as sometimes it is for me. At least me, it is. Um, but it is important. It's another, these movies that, it's important to get these messages out and so forth and take it for what it is. There's bullying in this movie, and obviously, when you have people that are half mutated, it's people that are different, and it's how you react, and is everybody's different in this world, and some people are treated right and some people are treated wrong, and certain people treat certain people a certain way, and back and forth. I don't need to go through with you guys. You guys can see what's out there, and this movie is just another reminder of it. And also, a reminder that, when we don't understand something, and when something is different, maybe it brings a little fear in us, and that fear in us kind of, brings out the bad side of us and makes us do things that we probably shouldn't do. Also, a very, family-oriented movie. You have a father-son here that their bond is together, then apart, together and apart. They're definitely going to try to tie you into the emotions of them, and looking for their mom, and then everything's going on between the two of them. That's happened. So very interesting movie, a little bit different. Like I said, it's not a standard horror movie here. I let's see if I caught how it is longer than I thought. It is just over 2 hours. I'm not gonna say that it felt maybe that way. It that it became boring or this or that. I know sometimes you get over an hour and a half, and you get a little antsy, especially when you have to read a lot of the captions, the subtitles. It didn't feel that way. It's interesting. I think every time one of those creatures kind of came on film, or they kind of gave you that interaction there, you kind of refocused, and you were like, oh, okay, let's see that. Like I said, it was they did a really good job with that. Very realistic, nothing that looked super cheap. As the film goes on, you're going to hit that moment where definitely is a lot more throughout the movie. Like I said, it's going to be here and there. Then you're going to obviously towards the end hit a moment where there's a little bit more of a mixture, and a little bit more action going on between these mutated animals, half people, animals, whatever you want to call them, and people. You're going to hit that moment, and that's going to kind of pick up at the end of the movie, kind of give you a little hype as the movie kind of is heading into wrapping up. But it's just it's a lot of discovery, it's a lot of dealing with the issue, and dealing with what is going on here. I don't remember if they really got into why this is all the happening. Maybe I missed it. I know when they had their first doctor's appointment, there was a lot of talk, kind of about the curing and treatment and whatever. And I don't know if they mentioned why this is happening or so forth. But regardless, that's really not the important thing is here. And I don't think this is a movie that's set up to make multiple versions of, and some grand thing, kind of like Planet of the Apes. Why did people become apes, or apes become people, or whichever direction you want to take that movie, and the way that goes in the franchise. I don't I don't think this is set up. I think this is just a one-time shot at a kind of using this situation to talk about, the world, and where we are now, and whatever your thoughts are on the world, and so forth, and people's interactions, and so. But yeah, and it's a little hard to always judge some of the acting when it's a lot of subtitle, but they seem to do a pretty good job. The son is, he's definitely a little awkward. So there are moments of that. Like I said, it's gonna mix in, the creatures. It's gonna give you a little bit of action, not huge action, until the end, but it's gonna have its moments. Um, but it's just a lot, getting through this father-son relationship and what they're going through together and what they're going through apart, in this really weird world that has started in this and where they are. So yeah, I don't want to. I guess there's other things that could be said, but I don't want to spoil it. Let you guys see it. Maybe if you listen to me, maybe you already have some thoughts about what I'm leaving out. But for those who have seen these kind of movies and horror and sci-fi and so forth, but I'll leave that for you guys to see. But definitely a well done movie, and that it's not going to stray too much. Like I said, if you're looking forward to, oh, people are going to turn into mutants and we're going to get into like all this mutant craziness, it's really not about that. It is about the father and the son mostly, and you are going to see some of that other stuff, but it's not about that. It's not too much about that perspective, or taking you from that angle. You're not going to see birds, apes, lions, and tigers come together in a meeting and what they're going to do against humans. It's not that kind of movie. As fun as that sometimes is. But whatever. So with that, I'm going to give it 3.5 pools of blood. Because I think, of the importance of the messaging here and just how well it's done. Like I said, the special effects, the designs, the costuming, however they put it together, they did it really, really well. And the seriousness of the movie itself, and how they take you from, point A to the end, and the journey of the father and the son, and just the emotional of it is definitely an emotional roller coaster as well for them, and I think some of the audience, if you really get into the characters. So yeah, that's going to be 3.5 pools of blood out of 5. So yeah, horrorsquadreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Certainly more video reviews of late, of a long time now. So definitely subscribe, like, and do all those things that everybody wants you to do on YouTube. But if you don't, no problem, no worries. It is truly okay. I thank you regardless for spending even a couple of seconds here on this review or on this channel. And Twitter, Facebook, information down below. Feel free to join me there or not. Like, follow, not, whatever. That's also okay. If you do eventually see this movie, feel free to talk to me about it there or in the comment section down below. Again, March 15th, I believe, is the date in theaters, and then video on demand. So you guys have some different options to catch this film. So with that, I will catch you in the next review, horror fans.